Hello everyone, welcome to ForumIAS. Today we have on board with us Miss Deepti Rohilla, who has secured rank 39 in her very second attempt with geography optional. What was your reaction when you saw your roll number in the PDF? In what situation you were? Were you with your family, your friends, and how did you feel when you finally saw that you made it to the list?
First of all, thank you for having me. And it was a feeling of disbelief at the first, then happiness, then relief, and then finally it's taking time, the feeling to be sinking in.
So you were with your family?
Yeah, I was with my mother and we were driving home back when the result came. And it was mixed feeling because my mom was driving, she was happy, she was bursting also with little bit tears and happiness, and it was very happy to see her smile.
That's amazing. So it's like a dream for every aspirant to see their roll number in the PDF. So what we see is that UPSC is quite an arduous journey. Students, they undergo a lot of mental stress because preparing for this exam is a huge responsibility and a challenge. So can you tell us from where did you prepare? Many students, they go to Delhi. Where did you prepare from? From Delhi or from home or from your college itself?
So I started during the later half of my college years, wherein I focused on basic books. But the most, I would say the core preparation started after my college was over. And I took 1 year and I prepared diligently, and I prepared from home because I needed that support or the mental, that somebody is there who is there in your lows as well as in the highs. So, logistical challenges were also there, before shifting. So I made it a conscious choice that I'll prepare from home, and I joined a library. So the focus environment was there, caring environment was there. And I think my family has been a great support.
Great.
All of them prepared. I've diligently delegated the task. So my mother is a history teacher. So I prepared my history with her. And it is quite a task to prepare history, especially for prelims, because it requires a lot of memory, interlinkages, mapping. So I think we both, that 1 hour of preparation with her, it was my most fun part of the day. And my brother is in IT Delhi, so he has the knack of CSAT questions and aptitude solving. So I took a lot of help from him, and I would say he has been my greatest support. And apart from family, my friends have been very supportive.
Yes.
And in fact, I remember one day before the mains, since I've given mains before, so it was quite fearful that what will the same thing happen again? What will I not clear? That was going on in my mind one day before the mains examination. So I think there I have given a phone call, and they were really gracious enough to listen to my boring story. And I was very, very saddened, and I was outpouring negativity. But I think friends and family really helped a lot in keeping the sanity maintained.
Wow, that's pretty amazing to know. Anything else did you follow to navigate through the times of stress, like practicing meditation or any kind of exercise or any other hobby of the like?
So I do listen to podcasts. So I refer to Andrew Huberman podcast on neuroscience. I think I was dwelling a lot on how to tackle stress, anxiety, and from there I've got my interest in neuroscience. So I refer to his podcast. I also listen to Robert Greene's podcast. So these are the two my constant during my preparation.
Robert Greene and Andrew Huberman.
Yes,
that's amazing. So this was your second attempt, and as you've told me that in the first and the second, both attempts, you managed to clear your prelims. And this is a very, very critical stage that many students, they fail to clear this. So can you tell me, or can you tell everyone that what worked for you and what is that one sure shot strategy that will ensure that everyone clears their preliminary stage in the first go?
I think I was very scared of the prelim stage because it is so uncertain. Yes. That you can nearly lose a year of your preparation, and it's very taxing on the mental health as well.
Definitely.
So I think first would be I was very fearful, and I was very determined to get it right in the very first go. So I practiced a lot of tests. I focused a lot on the static component. Rather than running after too many current affairs sources,
Yes.
I have limited sources, but they were diverse and comprehensive enough. So I refer to that, and I had developed the knack of solving questions via repeatedly referring to the PYQs. Even the year-long as well as 1 month prior to the examination, I referred a lot to PYQs. Then I think having the right mindset of
Yes.
solving the questions, and even not attaching your worth to the examination, especially in the prelim stage, because you never know how much hard work the other person have done, and probably it is luck based also. So I would say I was chilled out 1 week prior to the prelims, because it is the most dreadful stage, and we are very fearful, especially 1 week before the prelims. So even if I'm studying, say 5-6 hours, that's it. I was not burdening myself that I have to reach to a certain number of hours during those days. So I would say that mindset plays really a crucial role.
So that's a very good amount of self-control and mindset control, as we can put it, that you practiced, and most of the students need it, because what they do is they tend to panic before prelims, and even if they are going good, their final result, it falls out because of this. So that's a very big win, that is winning over your stress and anxiety, and it's good that you were able to navigate through it. So talking about current affairs, what role does current affairs play in the initial stage of the exam, in the preliminary stage of the exam?
I would say it is important, but more so the static component. If it is very strong,
Yes.
some leeway in current affairs can be given, but few subjects, say environment or science and tech, IR, there needs to be a lot of focus on current affairs. But polity and economy and geography ka static component, in their conceptual clarity matters. So it varies from subject to subject.
It varies from subject to subject, definitely. Obviously, the pattern of prelims is also very, very dynamic. Many students, they clear their GS1 paper, but they flunk at CSAT, and they make this conventional mistake of not solving CSAT test series. What was your push factor, and what was something that motivated you to keep preparing for CSAT side by side? How did you include this in your timetable? What was your strategy?
So I think my motivation for CSAT was fear. Fear was driving me to work very hard in CSAT, because I was comfortable in GS. I was confident that I could clear. But coming from a geography background, though I had maths in class 11th and 12th,
Alright.
but I think you're not humble and not preparing enough, nobody's spared, as you said. So I prepared diligently based on the PYQs. And I've solved all the PYQs, especially of the reasoning part or the mathematics part. And after solving the PYQ, I've upped the game a bit. There was a book called CSAT by Arihant Publication, wherein the type of question that are being asked, I've given one level up. Say if the question is framed in a different manner. So I practiced it from that book, and I made a 10-page handout of the formulas, of the short tricks, or what I need to remember, and I've highlighted that well, that you need to focus on this part more or that part more. And I think for the CSAT, the day of the examination matters a lot. Okay. So I diligently prepared what will I do in the break between GS and CSAT, including what food should I eat so that I'm not lousy.
Sleepy.
Yeah, I practice NSDR, that is non-sleep depressed, so that my mind is fresh. I practice few calculation sums, addition, multiplication, so that I'm in the groove, and my few minutes are saved while I'm sitting and giving the examination.
So you did not have any prior experience in preparing for CSAT, and it was for the very first time?
No,
aptitude exams.
Yeah,
general.
this was my first time.
Great. And what about reading comprehension? What was your strategy? Because in CSAT we have seen a pattern that reading comprehension can be really, really tricky, because the options are similar. The paragraphs, they are shorter, more difficult to comprehend.
So I would say reading comprehension was my strength. Okay. If there are 32 questions, I would make sure that 30 of them are right. And for that, I believe daily newspaper reading played a role, because after reading a editorial, I would quickly ask what are the main points that are being asked in the paragraph or the article. And then I practice a lot from PYQs. And there is a way, say, assumption is asked or inference is asked. So I made it a point that I'm getting the hang of the question. I agree that in the last we are left with the two options. that are there, but we have to go with the broader theme that is there in the option.
Great. So what was your optional subject, and was your choice of the optional subject also related to your background? How did it help? What was your strategy? Can you please?
So my option was geography, and I've done geography honors from Miranda House, Delhi University. So it was natural inclination for me to take the subject. But in my very first attempt, I gotten the score of 219.
Okay.
Wherein I was very dejected. I mean, such a low score. But this time I made it to 323. So, I mean, getting 300 plus was really a dream come true, to be honest.
Definitely.
And I would say regarding the optional strategy, my approach would be to have very comprehensive notes of all the subjects prepared. And herein comes the role of newspaper reading. Regularly, I was finding the areas wherein I could use the keywords mentioned in the newspaper, which are not readily seen in the magazine or in the books. That made a lot of difference in the marks.
In the option, geography option marks. That's amazing. Okay, so you are trying to say that newspaper plays a very big role over the conventional sources that you usually follow for option.
Yes, true.
And what about answer writing? What about the mains exam, GS 1, 2, 3, 4?
So I would say that mains stage of the examination is really the main stage.
Definitely.
And in Forum, I joined the MGP and Dipin sir's current affair classes, and I'm hugely thankful to the quality content that sir has provided. And I refer to the topic copies or the comprehensive answers that has been provided. So it has been quite useful. And regarding the individual strategies, I would say in essay, my scores are 110, and in that I believe understanding the topic well, first of all, then writing according to the flow of the essay, wherein it is not mechanical, wherein you have certain emotional connect with the essay. Definitely. I think that played a role, and I usually start with the story and conclude with the poem. So these are the comprehensive strategy that I followed for the essay. And regarding the GS subject, I would say that identifying the sub part in the question, that becomes the key. And I followed the regular intro, body and conclusion framework, and it differed from paper to paper. Say in GS2, it's very crucial to be analytical and writing the keywords, say balanced constitutionalism or multilateralism, or even the famous quotes by Dr. S. Jaishankar or other people, wherein in paper 3, it is bit mechanical. You have to give a lot of examples. It need not be too much analytical. So it depends. And I feel that in essay, in ethics, that is mixture of all the three GSs.
Definitely.
Wherein the examples that came along with the ethical keywords. Yeah, so that was my GS main strategy.
Okay, so talking about essay, I'd like to focus more on that for now. Most of the students, while practicing their answer writing, what they do is that they fall back a little bit when it comes to essay writing practice. What do you want to suggest, and is there any one particular strategy depending on the topic that, okay, if it is a philosophical topic, this is the strategy I would like to follow, or if it is a topic related to history or economy, this is the strategy that I would like to follow? Anything that you used to practice before finally writing down or penning down the entire essay?
So I would say that I was not rigid in terms of whether it is of one subject or other.
Okay.
I would let my feelings flow, what all is coming in my mind. So I would just jot it down in the rough work that is provided.
Yes.
And regardless whether it is philosophical or a general topic,
Alright.
I would say the approach is same. Question it, why it has been asked, negating the subject. Whether the statement, if it is taken in the negative sense, how would it be? Then concluding in a very good positive note, and
Definitely.
making an emotional connect, I would say, with the reader is really crucial. And I did not neglect essay because, as you said, generally we focus a lot on GS and optional. But I would say that essay, ethics and optional, they are really the game changers. So I focused on, a lot of answer writing.
What usually a challenge that students face in answer writing, especially in 10 marks answers, is writing the conclusion. How would you suggest that, okay, what importance does conclusion part hold in an answer, in a 10-mark question or in a 15-mark question?
I think conclusion is quite important. It gives the closure to the answer. But I still believe that the main part that has been asked, whether it is answered well or not.
Yes.
Because in the later, we have 3 hours, so initially we'll write really good. In the last 10 minutes, we might have to rush 1 or 2 answers. So even if we have written the conclusion in 1 line with a keyword or a positive note, I think that will work. But I think more focus should be given on the main content, what is asked in the question.
Especially at least in 10 marks answers.
Yeah.
Okay. And did you attempt all the answers? Was there in any of the GS 1, 2, 3, 4? Were there any questions that were left out because of, you were running short of time, or was there any situation like that?
So it did not happen, because
Great.
I know that mains even in one, if it is left unanswered, even if the marks difference would not be huge, but it takes a lot on your mental toll. That what if I could have, answered that question? So I was very scared of the guilt that will come later.
Definitely.
So that really pushed me to attempt all the answers well. And for that, I had the hack that I will select 2 questions from the 10 markers that will be attempted in last, say, 10 minutes. And my watch was 5 minutes ahead of the time. So generally, my mind would say that we have 10 minutes, but in reality, it was 15 minutes. So in question wherein we don't know that much of the content well, I would mark it the questions, and then later I'll write them.
So did you include any flowcharts or diagrams, data in your answers?
Yeah, again it varied. In GS3 it's required to draw diagrams, data, etc. In some it requires code. So I think it depends on subject to subject.
Okay, I think more emphasis must be in the optional subject where you have to draw your maps and everything.
Yeah, mine was geography and it is a spatial subject, so maps
Definitely.
are inevitable.
How did ForumIAS help you boost your mains score, and what role did MGP play regarding your entire timetable for answer writing, the entire practice process that is involved?
So I think I attempted nearly all the MGP tests, yeah. Because it builds your accountability that you have to give the test on that day. So, regardless of whatever is going on, I have to complete my syllabus during that time. And it also ensured the revision is timely. Plus, I would say that the questions in MGP are really of good quality. And it tests that whether we are able to complete the paper on time, whether the answers are comprehensive or not. So I think it really made me ready for the day of the examination.
So Deepti, can you also tell us about your timetable? The timetable that you followed maybe 1 or 2 months before prelims?
So regarding prelims, I would say that I have dedicated a lot of time in answer solving, the PYQs. And the test series, because I believe there is a knack of solving questions.
Definitely.
We tend to ignore the mistake, but I believe no mistake is silly. So I was practicing a lot of questions and working a lot on what will be my mindset during the day of examination, and focusing on the static component, because I believe there is no end to current affairs. So in the 1 or 2 months prior to the prelims, my focus was a lot on static subject revision and revising what all mistakes I've done in the test series and practicing a lot of questions.
How many hours did you put in?
It's variable. I would say that more than 8 hours, but 1 week before the prelims, I would not stretch on the number of hours.
Yes, exactly. You have to keep yourself, in a good state of mind for the D-Day. Right. And how was your timetable for the mains? Was it very hectic? What was I want to know that what an ideal day of your life looked like, before attending the mains examination. Was it very hectic? And how did you navigate through occasional bouts of stressful situation and anxiety?
Yeah, so I would say that the time between prelims and mains, I was very focused.
Yes.
Because I know I have to give my all in this stage, because that's the main stage, as I said.
Definitely.
So I pushed more than 10 hours. At times when the momentum began, I would study more than 12 hours also. And on some days when the motivation is very high, I would say 13, 14 also, but that was occasional.
Okay.
That was the number of hours, I would say. And the daily timetable, initially I would start with the newspaper reading, which got completed in 45 to 1 hours. Then I would study 2 subjects together, because I'm of the personality that cannot study a subject for a stretch. I'll reduce my productivity. So to make the process also interesting and reduce the boredom, I take 2 subjects in a day, one 3 hours after the newspaper reading. Then I would again refer to any other current affairs classes or any video content in the afternoon after the lunch, because there our productivity reduces. And in the evening after the coffee, I would read another subject that requires sort of attention. And in the night before sleeping, I would look at some questions, frame some structures, and before sleeping, I would listen to something soothing.
That's nice. That's an ideal timetable. Okay. And coming down to the final stage now, and that is the interview stage. So your mains result was out, and you knew that you are going to prepare for the interview now. So how did you go about preparing for the interview? What was the entire journey?
So the date for the interview came on, I think, 19th of December.
Yes.
And mine was on the very first day, that is the 2nd Jan. Right. So I had nearly 2 weeks to prepare. So I focused on, say, developing perspective for newspaper, forming opinions, then brushing up on optional subject, and being mentally ready for whatever is being asked for the day. Because we tend to neglect communication when we prepare for mains, because we are just head down execution mode.
Definitely.
I think that during that time I tend to talk a little more so that there's not awkwardness while talking.
So did you attend any of the mock interview tests that we conducted?
Yeah, actually I joined Dipin Sir ka current affairs ka program. Right. There were, I think, 3 classes, right, and he nicely summarized all the current developments that might be asked. And yes, I have given mock interview. Amazing. As well.
And on the D-Day, what was your entire experience of the interview session that you attended at the Dhulpur house?
It was very surreal feeling. I mean, if you enter in that building and the whole architecture gives you a feel that you are somewhere else. Wow. So it was very a proud feeling, I would say, because my parents were accompanying me to the interview stage. And so it was very proud feeling, happy feeling that I've made it to the interview stage. And now just I have to perform and talk and be myself, and that's all.
And the interview went smoothly as...
Yeah, I mean, I was expecting a little more marks, yes, but all well, I mean, that ends well.
It's good that you're getting a rank already, so it's fine. All right. Anything else? What are your hobbies? How did you, during preparation, there might be a time where you felt that, okay, this is enough, I need a break. What did you do for that break part?
I would say I would dance shamelessly in my room in front of the mirror. So I think that really helped, because not only it is physically helping, but mentally also we get clarity when we have, loosened some of our overthinking energy. So it got channelized in a good way. Secondly, I would say I practice journaling and reflective writing. So that also helped, because once you've written, you yourself analyze that it has no basis. So it gives clarity in both the sense. I mean, in dancing also and in journaling also.
Amazing. So it helped you de-stress.
Yes.
UPSC throws surprises at you. So you have to be prepared from every end. Right. All right. So it was quite a lively discussion with you. And thank you so much for sharing about your journey. What worked for you may also work for someone else, may not. And maybe in future, in coming time, we'll have an in-depth discussion, especially about the strategy for optional subject.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, and congratulations once again for securing a rank, and all the best.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much.